Hello everyone and welcome to our Palworld survival guide. We're going over planting pals today and how to make them more efficient. Planting being a passive work skill, no it's a work skill, yeah, that allows your pals to obviously plant seeds in your plantations. We have these guys going on right now, and actually our little gun moss here is planting as we speak. And obviously if you want to have any kind of food, then planting is rather important. So, how can we make these certain pals who do planting a little bit faster, a little bit, more efficient? The first, actually, is to build a silo, which unlocks at level 25. There it is right there, and requires 2 technology points. So we will go ahead and put that down. But to build this, we're going to need 300 wood, 100 stone, and then 100 fiber. So we have that unlocked. Let's go ahead and build this. And oh my, okay, so it's not actually as big as I thought it was gonna be, so that's actually ideal. Why don't we, I don't know, I don't know where to put this. I guess I'll just, I feel like I should put it like where the farm is, just for aesthetics. It doesn't matter where you put it in your base. It's not like a proximity thing. As long as it's like in your base, it'll be happy. We'll just put it right here. Alright, so we'll have some people working on that. Thank you kindly. And what the silo does is it's just kind of like a structure that just gives like a passive efficiency to any kind of planting pal. So like our gun moss here, he's like tier 1. He's not the fastest, right, when it comes to planting. But even having just the silo around is going to make him a little bit faster. So it's very helpful if you have, like, baby pals still doing your work. But obviously it also helps even if you have, your top tier planting pal. That's just going to make them a little bit faster too, which is pretty epic if you think about it. So the silo, definitely something that I would recommend having regardless of, what tier, good job, Gun Moss, what tier planters pals you have. So that's the first thing. Obviously, the next is to invest in better pals. The first ones that are easy to get, Gun Moss, obviously very easy to get your hands on. But I would actually recommend, if you can, Tansy, just because Tansy has so many other skills that you can have them do when they're not planting, because they only plant. So are you alright, little Mr. Whale Man? Why don't you go take some time in the spa? I don't even know where you are. But anyway, so that's kind of, when they're planting, like, they're done, and then, like, Gun Moss here, he has, like, one job, basically, which is to plant, so he's kind of useless if he's not, like, doing anything else. So Tansy, I think, is actually a really good starter pal for planting, but obviously, as soon as you can get to tier 2 and replace, your tier 1s, go for it. So, for tier 2, the best kind of pal that you could get for that would be a Mosanda, and mostly because it has, like, other kind of, like, skills to help out. Verdash as well, mostly because that Verdash also has Gathering 3, so once it's done planting and the crops are grown, it can then, help gather that as well, so that kind of, like, takes care of 2 things, which is really, really nice. And the fact that, like, Verdash is also, tier 3 gathering, that means they're gonna be, gathering these things relatively faster than, other pals lower than that. So Verdash is also a very good kind of tier 2 planter. And then when you're on to, like, the next, you're looking for your tier 3s, I would definitely recommend Bronze Cherry at first, just to kind of, like, because they're accessible, if that makes sense. They're a little bit easier to get than some of the others on the list. And Bronze Cherry as well only plants, like, that's their only work skill that they have. So it's helpful for that if you want it, if you have, like, a really big plantation, I would say, like a really big, like, base full of just a bunch of plantation, a bunch of foods. They can help out there because that's, like, the only thing they're going to be doing, which is, helpful. And then the other tier 3 pal that you might want to consider getting is Battalion, because they also have a bunch of other skills that they bring to the table, which can, make them a little bit more useful too. Hey, our silo is built. Amazing. So our planters now are going to be a little bit more efficient at their job, which we love. Now, the tier 4, the best pal that you can get for planting, at least right now, unless they come out with another one, is Lylene. Like I said, the only tier 4 one currently right now in this moment in time. And Lylene, like I said, tier 4 planting. Hard to get though. I think they only are I think there's like a boss or something, or they're on the wild fire sanctuary, one of those. Anyway, not the easiest, not the most accessible, I would say, but obviously if you want the best, you gotta go Lylene. Now, besides that, there are some work skills that you can try, or I should say passive skills, that you can try to get your planters to get, try to either, breed them or try to find pals that have those passive skills. The first is Swift, which gives a 30% boost to your movement speed, well, to the pal's movement speed. And the reason why I suggest that is just because if you have your plantation and your little plots are kind of spread out, like mine are pretty close, but if you have like a really big kind of farm and like the plantation themselves are spread out, it might help your pal, your planter pal, to kind of move faster between them all, so they just get that job done a little bit faster. But that's mostly helpful, like I said, if your plots are not all bunched up together like mine are. Artisan, otherwise, is another great work skill for them to have. That increases work speed by 50%, so add that with the silo. You guys they're like on fire. They're going so fast. And then obviously Workaholic is another great work skill for planters to have, just because it makes their sanity drop 15% slower, so they won't need to take quite as many breaks. So that means they're able to focus on your plantations and plant more without taking breaks. So all those kind of things together, you can make some pretty fast and efficient planting pals. But that's about it. So let me know what you guys, what your strategies are, what planter pals, you prefer to use and why. Love to hear it. But that's about it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep surviving and keep thriving.